Hello, my name is Salehsadaah. I'm a 19-year-old student in the Northern Virginia Community College in the United States. I'm an engineering major, first year. And my future plan is to get a mechatronics degree, a master's mechatronics degree. Today I'll be showing you how to use AutoCAD, ArtCam and Studio, and how to transfer a drawing from AutoCAD to ArtCam to Studio so you can use it on a CNC router. I've been using AutoCAD since I was in 9th grade. My father taught me how to use it, and this summer, in the summer of 2019, I've been working on the CNC machine in my father's factory, and I've been learning a lot about AutoCAD, ArtCam, and Studio. So I thought I might be able to help you all. So let's get started. Before we get started, I just wanted to show you some of my work and the capabilities of the CNC router machine. So this is a 3D drawing that I made using the CNC router. And this is also a 3D drawing made by the CNC router machine that obviously I made. And we have here some 2D work. Some of the 2D work. Here, this one as well. This is also 2D. This is 2D. And this one is 3D. Also we have this one, that's 3D and 2D. What I mean by 3D and 2D is that we started this as a 3D drawing, and then after we finished the 3D part, we made the same file into a 2D so that we can carve the pieces inside. So this is the outcome. Okay, so now let's get started with the...
So, to get started, a customer came to us and gave us this picture. He gave us this picture and told us to take the design out of this and put it on some of his requests. He asked for like window frames and doors. So the first step here to start, we just need we need to get this picture out. So if you look here closely, you can see that the lower half, a part of the lower half is covered, so we can't technically draw the whole thing. But if you you can notice that the top half and the bottom half are the same, and the right half and the left half are the same. So we can either draw half of it, or we can draw a quarter and get the picture out. So open AutoCAD, put the drawing in, scale it as much as you want using the mouse, or you can put a number in, scale it, then use ortho mode, F8 to make a straight line, to make it into 0 degrees, and enter. Here's the picture. So we're gonna make an outline here. So firstly, you're gonna use L for line, enter or space to confirm, and specify the corner you want the frame to start at. And then here, let's cancel this. If you press on this is polar tracking. This one, if you press line, you can use it in any corner you want, 160, 130, 44, 33, whatever number you want. But if you use this one, ortho mode, F8, for F8, the line you make can only be 0 degrees, 90 degrees, 180, 270, and that's it. So here we'll be using ortho mode for the frame. So specify this point and then take it to above the half, because we'll only be needing the quarter. But if you want to make the whole thing, you can extend it all the way. And if you look closely, we started at this corner, but we ended above the corner on the other side. So you can notice that the picture is not exactly straight, so we'll have to compromise. So that's why I drew it only quarter, because that's the closest thing I can get to the line. And then this side, draw the line here, make it to below the half. Here we have the same problem, so we'll also have to compromise here. So I'm gonna switch back to polar tracking, or press F10. Here, F10. You can see here polar on in the commands right here. So start tracing. Like this, so on and so forth. This is for the straight lines. And now for the arcs, press ARC, right, ARC for arc, enter or space to confirm the command, and then here you need, for the arc I'm using is, you take the first point, the second point, and the third point, and you'll get an arc. And from this point to this is the radius. It's 2.6 here, so this is the arc. So here I'm gonna start again, take the first point, the middle point, and the end point. Here we have an arc. First point, middle point, end point. Same thing here. First point, middle point, end point. And then we're going to switch back to line. This is a straight line, like so. If you want to extend, you can select this and just extend this a little bit. Yep, right here. It's perfect. Not exactly perfect, but it's better than nothing. Okay, so then for the circle, if you want to make the circle, you can see that all the circles are the same size. So here I'm just gonna try to approximate the center of the circle and then specify the radius of the circle. Then now I have the circle. So here, when you select this circle, if you press in the middle, you can move it to wherever you want, and if you press the end points, you can extend the radius however you like. So this is good. Just extend it a little bit right here, and like this. Yeah, this is good. You can just CO for copy, then take this point, move it. Oh, yeah, sorry about that. Copy, then move it here, then move it here, here, etc. So I've already finished this, so I showed you what I did. So this is the one I drew. I only drew the his part, nothing more. And then what I did is I used the mirror option. The mirror option lets you mirror the object, just like this example right here. So use the mirror, select the object you want to mirror, then confirm, then choose the end point, and then go down a straight line just like this, and then mirror again just like this, and boom. Here we have the complete drawing. This is the drawing that we used. So now I'm gonna show you how I can change this into an ArtCam profile. So when you want to change this, now we don't need those, we only need the final product. So here, open the file, save as, save it wherever you want. I'm gonna save it on my desktop right here. So on my file, here you're gonna, the ArtCam we're using here is ArtCam 2008. So ArtCam 2008 takes AutoCAD files, AutoCAD 2000, LD 2000 drawing and lower. So we're gonna use 2000 AutoCAD 2000 file, change it to customer 1 and save it. Here I save the file here and customer in this file and customer 1. I'm just gonna cut it, paste it here. This is the file. Now I'm gonna open ArtCam. When ArtCam launches, you can go to File, open, and then open the file you want to use. So this is the file customer 1. Open it. This size doesn't matter for now. Press OK. And then they're gonna ask you if you want the vectors from the file not. Press OK. Now we have the vectors. Now the vector of the size of this is 4.6 millimeters and 13.29 millimeters. So what we want is we're gonna select, let's delete this and select this. Group vectors, group them so that they're one. So if I press on one, select all, it's gonna move it. Now I'm gonna transform vectors, move it to the bottom left corner at 0, 0. Make the height 1200 millimeters or 1 meter and 20 centimeters. Apply. So this is the drawing. Now I'm gonna copy this, Control X. Now I'm gonna press Control N or open file, new, and then new model, and put the size of the sheet. The standard size of the sheet is 2 meters 44 centimeters or 2440 millimeters, and 1220 millimeters or 1 meter 22 centimeters. Now press OK. Would not like to save. Now expand and then copy this. I'm gonna here, I'm gonna select this again, go to here, put to the positioning. I'm gonna pin this, so, and now I'm gonna transform vectors, move it to the bottom left corner at 0, 0. This is 1200. Apply, and here it is. So here the height is 1200 and the width is 419. So now you can see that when I grouped it, before I grouped it, the lines were all black, but when I grouped it, some of the lines turned blue and some of them are still black. So the black lines are accepted by the profiling tool. So if I go here, go to toolpaths and then press 2D profiling. This is a 2D drawing, so it's gonna be, the machine is gonna be cutting these parts, these drawings. So I'm just gonna go to do 2D profiling. I'm gonna choose the depth. I need it to be 8 millimeters from the inside, cut from the inside, and select profiling tool. I'm gonna use a 5 millimeters. Well, the one we have is 4 millimeters, so what we're gonna do is edit, diameter is 4, step down, we're just gonna keep it. The tool number, our machine has 2 tools, tool 1 and tool 2. We're gonna be using tool 2 since tool 1 is not functioning at the moment, and the rate, we're gonna put it at millimeter per minute, and the tool units is millimeter, not inches, and confirm. Also, if this is 4, you're probably gonna need to change the name, 4 millimeters. Press OK. I'm gonna choose this, select, and now extend this, extend the end mill 4 millimeters, and the step down. The step down is every time, every lap that the machine takes is gonna be 2.5 millimeters down. So since this is 8, it's gonna, for one piece, it's gonna do it 4 times. So 2.5 millimeters, and then it's gonna 2.5 more, which is 5 millimeters, and then 7, and then 7.5, and then 8. So we're gonna need to put it at 8 or whatever you want. If it's usually if the sheet is like 18 millimeters thick, I put the step down to 10 millimeters, and then here the feed rate, the speed, I'm gonna put 300. The feed rate is the speed of how fast the machine moves. The spindle is how fast the bead rotates. It's put at 1500 RPM. We're gonna keep it at 1500 RPM. Then press now, and if you look here, there's a red line. So this red line, the machine is gonna be, so the bead is gonna be moving like this between this line. It's not gonna go above this line or above this line, so it's gonna be cutting here. It's gonna be cutting this. But if you go to the blue line, such as this one, and try to work it, it's not gonna do it properly, because see here, it's gonna cut a part of the machine, a part of the sheet we're gonna have, which we don't want. So what we usually do is here, close this, unselect, and go back to assistant, and here we're gonna need to delete this for a second, or just cut it. And then this one we're gonna combine it, so it's gonna start here at the green, so the machine starts at the green point and ends at the red point. So what we wanted to do is, just like here, as you can see, there's only one point. If you press P at whatever line you choose, like this, you're gonna be able to move the start point of the machine, but here you can't actually do it. So here what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it all into one line, one shape. So we're gonna go to the term vectors, and we're gonna close the vector with a line. So if you look here, now it's closed, it's all in one. Now if you go out, group vectors, then go back, it changed into black color. So now the machine can work with it, and so on and so forth. So do this to all the blue ones. If you see that's coming out, an extended line that's coming out of here, so maybe this looks like so, like this. It's gonna give you, this one is gonna be red. Now I fixed all the mistakes here. Yeah, it's all grouped, and you can see that none of them are blue, which means that everything is good now. None of them are blue or red. So now we're gonna make the frame, because we need to have a 5mm frame, or 2mm depending on the customer, but we're gonna make it 5mm, 5cm, or 15mm. So the height is 1200, so we're gonna add 50mm, and the width I changed it to 400, so we're gonna need to put the width at 450 and then create the rectangle. Now gonna need to take this, move it here, take out drawing and move it here. Now we're just gonna take this, go to transform vectors, move it to the left corner to 0, 0. We can check the height here and the width, apply. Now it's in this corner. Now what we're gonna do, we're gonna select our drawing and select the box and center in page. So we're gonna center this in this. So center. Oh, this one centers it in the page. This one centers the vector. So now this is the final product. Gonna go again, group vectors, gonna transform, move to the bottom left corner to 0, 0, then apply. Now it's in this corner, the corner we want it to be in. This line we don't need it, we just need it so that we don't need to keep it, because if we keep it, the machine is gonna register this as a vector and cut around this, but we don't need to cut around this. We just need, because the wood is already set, the piece of wood we have is already 1250 and 450, so the outer box is not needed. We just needed it for now so that we can get the inside to be in the exact position. So I'm gonna delete this. Now I'm gonna select this, group the vectors, go to toolpaths, 2D profiling, and then I'm gonna put a profile side from the inside, so it's gonna be, so the beat's gonna be moving inside, not outside. So need inside. The depth is gonna be 8. Profiling tool is gonna be end mill 4 millimeters on wood. Make sure it's rough and 2D finishing. End mill 4 millimeter. Select and then go down. Press now. And okay, we have a mistake here. So let's fix it. Let's see where's the issue. So if we select this, ungroup, and try to look at this, I think we might have an overlapping. I found what the problem was. So if you look here, and so if I select this, group it together, then here we have blue lines, ungroup. Yep, there's a line here. I'm just gonna cut this, delete this, and then paste it, and do the same thing in this corner. I'm gonna cut this, delete this, and paste it. Gonna cut this, delete this line and paste it. Same thing for this corner. Gonna cut it, no line. Okay, good. So now it should not be a problem. To profiling, put it. Wait, here I already have the option here. So select all, group vectors, 8, and then the 2D I chose this. Step down, put the step down at 8 millimeters. Feed rate 300 or 400. Tool number is 2, the one I'm using. Press now, and yes, success. So when you get this is the, and if you look at the red lines, this is the okay. So what you want to do here, everything's ready. If you want to check how the machine is gonna move, just gonna right click on the drawing, simulate toolpath, and just give it a second, and it should show you simulate start. And so the simulation right here, it's gonna be cutting them like this. Now this way you can simulate how the machine is gonna work its wonder, as you can see. Then now just fast forward to the end. Extra track, so on and so forth. It's gonna finish all of this and the whole thing. Now like this you can see how the machine is gonna work it. So just wanna save. So when everything's done and you're ready to move it to the NC Studio, what you're gonna do is select the option you chose.
Okay, so once you finish everything, you just wanna save file here, and then go to the machine output file. Is formatted for nk260wholebeyond.nc. This is an NC type file. This is the kind of file our machine, our NC Studio takes, so we're gonna use this. So now I'm just gonna save on desktop samples, and I'm gonna save. Here I have some extra files on my desktop, NC type files, so I'm just gonna save it on file 33, save it, replace it, and close. That's it. So So this is the CNC router machine. There are the different kinds of CNC machines. There's CNC routers such as this one, the one that has a bit that goes through the wood. There's also CNC plasma, CNC laser, and CNC water jet. As I already said, this is a CNC router. So if you follow me here, these two are the routers. This is tool 1 and this is tool 2. At the moment we're using tool 2 as our main router, but we can use either of them. So look here, this is the dust collector. This is the dust collector. I'll talk about the dust collector in just a second. So if you look here, this is the bead. This one, this is the bead. Okay, and this whole thing is the router. So when the machine starts, this router spins the spindle or the bit at 15,000 RPM. Of course, you can set as many. You can set your own RPM, 15,000, 12,000, wherever suits you. If it's like a very small, thin bead, you can use lower. RPMs, but this is a very big and this is a 6 mm bead, so we're using 15,000 RPM. So let me close this. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about the dust collector. The dust collector does two things. First, it sucks up the dust left out from drilling through the wood and takes it up here, up this one, and through here and into these bags. These bags are full of dust. You can see they're full of dust. The second thing that the dust collector does is collects the cold air from the room and pulls it up through the router and the dust collector to cool down the spindle. Okay, so now let's talk about the vacuum. So this is a water pump. This is a water pump. It uses water to create pressure to suck out to create a vacuum. And here, look here. These holes are where the air goes through. So the vacuum just sucks out the air, and the air passes through here and sucks down the piece of wood. Well, currently the piece of wood that we have here is damaged. So if it's sucking out wood, it's going to be leaking the air. So we're not using the vacuum. We're just using clamps. We put clamps here to hold the piece of wood in. Okay, come here. We have here 3 switches. The first switch, as you can see here, is for the first part. So this part here. It opens and closes the vacuum here. Now the vacuum is open, so if I turn on the vacuum, it's going to be sucking air. If I do like this, if I pull it up, it's going to close. As you can see here, it says it's here, open and close. Open and close. So now it's open. If I turn it like this, it's gonna close. The second switch is for the middle, as you can see from the symbol. So like this is open, and like this the vacuum is closed. So in the middle it will not be sucking any air. And here, this is the last one. This is for the top. It opens and closes the vacuum just like these two. So how can this be useful? So if you have a piece of wood here that you need to adjust, but you don't want to turn off the vacuum, you can just pull the switch up and change the position of the piece of wood, and then open the vacuum from the switch without closing the vacuum itself. Maybe the vacuum you have takes a long time to like warm up or to start working. So this is very convenient. So this is the oil tank or the oil container. The oil here lubricates the rails of the machine, such as this rail. This is the rail for the y-axis. There's also a rail for the x-axis and the z-axis. So if you look here, there's a timer here or like numbers. We have the machine set as it drops oil for 2 seconds, for 2 consecutive seconds every 8 hours. So it drops usually when we start working on the machine, we turn it on for 8 hours until the work is done. So every day we just work for 8 hours. So we have this put for 8 hours, and it drops 2 seconds worth of oil. If you look here, this is the filter for the oil. Here we put the oil in here, and this is also a filter that filters the oil, just in case there's any dirt or any waste. We don't want the waste to be in the oil, because we want the oil to be clean when it goes to the rails, so that it doesn't cause damage to the rails. Okay, so here we have 5 switches. The first switch is the stop switch. This is an emergency switch. If I press this, it stops the machine. This one you use it in case of an emergency that happens and you can't reach the computer to stop the machine from its studio. You can just press this to stop the machine. As you can see, the light here turned off. That means the machine now stops working. After you're done fixing whatever happened, you just turn this clockwise and it will open. The second switch is the on and off switch. So now it's pressed inside, so now it's on. If I press it again, it's gonna go out and it's gonna turn it off. The third button is the vacuum button. If I turn this, it turns on the water pump that creates the vacuum. And the fourth switch is the off vacuum. So if I press this, it turns off the vacuum. Lastly, we have the location button. So if you look here, when I press the location button, it's gonna push 4 pistons up. And I can use these pistons to adjust the piece of wood at a 90-degree angle, just like this. Now the piece of wood is okay, so it's gonna push it to align it with the pistons so that it's gonna be straight. It's not gonna be tilted or rotated in any way. So just push it again and make sure it's good. And then now just press the location button and it will drop them down. Also, if this is pressed and they're up, if I turn on the vacuum, the pistons will drop down. And if I turn off the vacuum, the pistons are gonna go up. But now I'm just gonna keep them down. The piece of wood is already in place. I don't need to move it anymore. Now we have this piece of wood that we're gonna be doing the work on. We're gonna put this piece of wood on top of the main piece of wood so that it doesn't damage the vacuum. The black sheet here is the main board for the machine, so we don't want to damage it. So we put an extra sheet up so that we can protect the machine from being damaged. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you how to set the origin of the machine and how to set the zeros for yourself. So if you go here to the top left, this is NC Studio. The NC Studio we have is 2-cylinder 1 converter. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna load a file that I saved earlier, 533. As you can see, the type is NC file. So I'm gonna open it. Now I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna simulate, or F8, and I was gonna simulate the drawing on the board here on the screen. Okay, now after the simulation is done, you'll have to stop the simulation. You'll have to stop it. Now you can start the machine, but we're not gonna start it yet. We need to set the origin of the machine. So if I clear this, and if you look here closely, you see this plus? This plus is the location of the machine. This plus shows you the location of the beat. So if you look there, it's in the middle. It's in the middle of the machine, and the same here. It's in the middle. So the plus sign, the plus here is the location of the beat. So here we're gonna need to set the origin. So here I'm just gonna go to the right side of the application here on manual. I'm gonna press on manual, and here you'll have a panel. This panel helps you. This panel helps you to move the machine to wherever you want. So plus Y, minus Y, X minus, X plus, Z plus, and Z minus. So the Y plus and the Y minus, it moves the machine forward. It moves the machine forward and backwards. the X plus and XY moves the machine sideways, right and left, and the Z plus and Z minus moves it up and down. Okay, so let's go back here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open this cylinder. So I'm gonna be using tool 2. So cylinder 2, we're gonna need to open it. Now the tool is open. If you look here, so we opened this one. Now this one went down, and this one is still up because this one is open and this one is closed. So now I'm gonna need to move the machine over here to where I need to wherever I need it to start at, and wherever I put it at is gonna be the origin of the machine. But if you look here at the panel, the one I was talking about before, the one that lets you move the machine, you can see that there are numbers 8, 9, 4, 6, 1, 2. These numbers resemble the numbers on the number pads. If you look down here, so you can use 8, 9, 4, 6, 1, and 2 to move the machine. So if I press 2, you can see from the plus shows the location of the bit. So if you can look at here, it's moving. Okay, and so now I'm gonna move the machine over here and set the zeros over here. So now I'm gonna move it backwards. Yeah. Now I need to slow the speed down so that I can get I can get the position as accurate as I can be. So first I'm gonna set the Z. So I'm just gonna get a piece of paper and just gonna put it here. I'm just gonna move this forward a bit. Now I'm gonna do is I'm gonna push this down. Now I'm just gonna push it slowly and keep moving the piece of paper. When the piece of paper starts moving, that means the bit has touched the piece of paper. You can see it stopped moving. So now I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna reset Z over here. Reset Z. Okay, now the Z is reset. The height is reset. Now I'm gonna need to reset the X and the Y. You can reset X and the Y at the same time. Here, reset X and Y, or you can reset them separately, whatever you like. So if you go back to the machine, now I'm gonna need to push this upwards a bit, okay, to move this. Now I'm gonna put the bead in this corner. So now I need to move it to the right a bit, then down. Okay, so now we moved it down. What you're gonna do now is just check if everything's good. Look at it from both sides. Make sure that the center of the bit is on the point you want, not the corner of the bit. The center of the bit is on the corner you want. So now everything's good. So now all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go back here. Now for me, the X and the Y are reset. So I can just reset X and Y, reset both of them, or you can reset X and Y separately, whatever. Now since everything is set, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna move to origin, or press F7. So now I'm just gonna need to move the machine to the 0. Okay, now the machine is put to 0. I'm gonna go back to manual, and I'm gonna open the second cylinder. Just make sure it's open. If it's not open, you need to open it, and if it's open, just keep it. Now everything's set. It's at the origin point. Everything's good. The simulation is done. Everything's done. The drawing is here. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just start it. Okay. Now the bit is moving at 24,000 RPM per minute. small plus that's moving. This is the bead. This is the location of the bead. So you can always keep an eye on it. But it's better to keep an eye on the machine itself so that if anything happens to the machine, you can be ready to stop it. So keep an eye on the machine and stay beside the computer at the same time. That's the best thing to do. You can see these pieces, you can just remove them. Okay, so if you look here, it's clean because the dust collector is sucking up the dust and not keeping it in here. If the dust stays in here, sometimes the dust gets under the piece of wood and it might push the piece of wood upwards. So that's why the dust collector is important. After the dust was collected by the dust collector, we just pick the extra pieces and we throw them on the side. So here we finished only half of the drawing. You can see this half. It's clean. The pieces are not there anymore. We just removed the pieces, the extra pieces that were drilled, and we took them out. So this is the finished product. Also, we have here another one. This one has the same drawing, but a bit bigger on a smaller sheet. So you can see here, it's a drawing. So that's it for the video. So that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, you can contact me on my email down below in the description.